Welcome. Oh, yes, I'm sure this is within your price range. I'll hex you for that one.
I just couldn't resist. I could not resist. Let me see what's going on with... Huh.
Hmm? Now we ask the audience if they heard any of that.
Right?
And I'm guessing our audio isn't live either.
It's all should be live right now. There's a Pook saying, yep. Yes, Calvin can hear us as well.
Oh, good. They can hear us all. Oh, now I can hear me.
Indeed. A pleasure doing business with you. Get out!
I've heard that one before.
Now Troy doesn't need me anymore because he's got a soundboard full of lines from me.
It's so great. I gotta tell you, I'm telling you, friends, if you have not had a chance to work with pure, unadulterated genius, get you a genius stat. Crystal, honestly, when I listened, I was laughing so hard, not because it was silly or dumb, but because it was so incredible. You are also a VO actress. I mean, come on.
I am not a VO actress. I did one bit of VO for
Sirenscape.
Sirenscape. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Now,
Forever.
now, wait a minute, Crystal. When someone publishes their very first thing and they say around you, but I'm not really a writer, don't you go, hey, you published a thing, you're a writer? I seem to recall you saying that. So you have voice acted a thing, ergo, you're a voice actor. You're just going to have to accept that in addition to being a writer, developer, publisher, artist, layout
Assassin.
artist, cartoonist, and alligator wrestler, you are also a voice artist.
I think it's awesome. I'm just.
Oh, and it is not too late to disinvite you from the broadcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You forgot life coach. Crystal is also an effective life coach.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, friends. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, we've got an Alex. Echo on Alex. Yeah, not anymore. Charlotte says, "Wait a minute, that's not Steve." You know,
No,
Steve.
That's what Steve looks like without his makeup.
That's right. Yeah.
Steve and I share the same human suit supplier, and there was a mix-up.
I was gonna say, before the show, we have all of our skin suits are hanging up on a rack, and sometimes in a rush, we forget which one we need to put on. But no, actually, so Steve's Gen Con and all that, and so
Steve is Gen Con and all that.
Steve is actually the Gen Con, but he's also coming back from Gen Con. He's en route right now, and so he can't join us. I was excited that Owen was like, hey, I can join, and that was fantastic. Owen, have you ever seen a gravy squatch?
I mean, you did come out of the Pacific Northwest.
I mean, yeah.
So I don't know if I've ever seen a gravy squatch. I will note that the actual Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot equivalent here in my native Oklahoma is the skunk ape. And a skunk ape might well be right up there in the gravy squatch oeuvre.
Yes, indeed.
Skunk ape is what happens when you leave a gravy ape out in the Oklahoma summer.
If the gravy ape is not properly refrigerated, it becomes a skunk squatch.
This isn't a joke. That is actually something my dad used to call me. Skunk Ape.
Yeah, no, Skunk Ape's a thing. I'm not
Yeah.
making that up. That is a local cryptid.
I didn't
So-
know they had them that far north.
Do they?
Yeah,
I mean-
we have them in Florida. That's our local cryptid. I didn't realize they had them in Oklahoma.
So they're called.
Yeah.
What are they called in Florida?
Skunk apes.
Oh, they're skunk apes too. Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Because
Yeah,
they smell terrible. In theory.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they smell bad, up here in the Northwest too, right? I mean, so you think?
I mean,
so I've been told.
with all the patchouli, who knows?
I like it. Only if they eat burritos. Oh, that's like a gaseous. Yes, indeed. Well, welcome to Mutants and Masterminds Monday. Owen, thank you so much for stepping in. Of course, we've got Alex, and as always, Crystal. The I don't even know, like the multi hyphenate. What do you call? I mean, like how when your title and all the things that you've done are bigger than a business card. What do you do? Like you just sort of
Creative. Just call me creative.
creative. I like it.
Luckily, Crystal's so well known she doesn't need business cards. She walks into a room and everyone gasps and tries to decide whether or not they dare approach her and introduce their friend.
Genuflex. That's right.
A lot of people ask me how I would characterize my rise to fame, and I always like to tell them, who are you and why are you speaking to me?
Exactly. I love it. But I've got some other big news today, and this is a bit of a surprise. This is not necessarily it's Crystal Talent adjacent, but I am incredibly happy to say that one moment, please.
That was a lot of preamble for one
I
moment.
Yeah.
know.
Please
Yeah,
don't.
you've said one moment, please, before, Troy. It just isn't as special as you seem to think.
That's right. That's right. I might have worn that one out. What I want to do is I want to see if I found the right one. I did. A moment. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to replace a moment.
Vamp.
Vamp. Watch.
Pose.
Look at this. Pose.
Oh,
Get outta
Stream
here.
Reborn.
Get out of here, Gravy Squatch. Look at his Gravy Squatch on the screen like some kind of
Oh, I thought we were going to stat up Gravy Squatch.
Oh gosh, that would be super fun. But we could, using this official character sheet, which is actually now live for the public. Everybody
Ooh.
can access it. It is 100% out there. The work that they've done is incredible. It also has the Hero Lab importer, which was very, very important to our Patreon folks that tested this. I want to thank them. I want to thank, of course, the VTT team in general, Pook, and then, of course, Richard Tran, who's helped us put, he was the architect of this sheet and dealt with us crazy developers, and it's looking real good.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. And what that means is that in the next few days, we will be releasing Mutants and Masterminds content for people to play on Roll20. Yeah, I'm really excited. Yes. Super exciting, and thank you all for your patience, but truly this has been, we weren't entirely sure. Thank you, AJ Real, that's great. Glad that you like it, and glad that you're here to see it. We were not we had some technical issues. We wanted to, of course, launch this during Gen Con, but we missed it by a day.
Oh,
but
no.
just a day.
Someone is still playing games in Indianapolis, so we're just going to call it, extended Gen Con.
That's right. Everybody gets the day off to play Mutants and Masterminds. So you'll be able to check that sheet out. Head on over to Roll20, and we'll have content ready to go here. I mean, I don't know the way that things go. Maybe it's live now. Who can say? But because certainly not me. But we will keep everyone apprised of our progress moving forward, and check it out. Tell us what you think. Play around with it, and if you find any problems, or you run into any technical issues, keep it to yourself. No, I'm kidding. Send a note to let's play at greenronin.com, and we will do our level best to track it down and fix that for you. But
Troy, if it helps, you can find the sheet on Roll20 now. I set up a new table that actually has access to the sheet about an hour ago, so it is available out there in the world already.
I do feel like I just made that announcement right now, but I'm thank you for.
But you said you didn't know if content was going to be available in the next couple of days. I just wanted to make sure.
I'm talking about adventures.
Oh, specific content.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. But I do thank you for verifying and validating, because I need that on a regular basis. And if you could just call me every once in a while and say, Troy, it's working. You're great. I would love that. I'll give you my cell. All right. Well, so Crystal, talk to us about what's going on. Why do we have this clever man that I only see on Thursdays here on my Mondays?
Well, we've got Owen here. One, because he is the nicest man in gaming. Two, because he is probably the industry's foremost expert on statting up weird monsters and abilities on the fly.
Okay, no, wait. How many arms is this thing going to have? Because I am still recovering.
Well, we're going to ask you to
many?
Yeah, we're going to ask you to make the Mutants and Masterminds version of your multi-hydramia. No, we have Owen on today because we are doing our creature feature where we talk about using monsters and creatures and minions and designing interesting things for Mutants and Masterminds that aren't necessarily supervillains. We're doing this because this week we are kicking off for the Patreon, the Summer of Starhaven event, 3 different space monsters that live in and around Europa. So we're going to be releasing the Norquil later today, which is our space whale. And then later this week, we're going to release the Nanomorph, which is a sentient or sapient living pile of nanites that can reproduce anything. And then also the brine, which are an aquatic species that live deep in the dark trenches of Europa's ocean and do not like strange aliens, anywhere near their planet. What they've decided is their planet. They're not actually native to the area. But
I like it. All right, I like it. So, who are we setting today? Are we going to do? Is it going to be the space whale or?
No, we're also going to have the chat help us stat up an ice predator of some sort that prowls Europa's surface.
Nice.
We're gonna get their input. We can even boot up Hero Lab if we want to show everybody an exciting stat block interface. But yeah, we're also just gonna talk up how you make your creatures unique or interesting or memorable at the table in ways that supervillains may or may not be.
I like it. Well, so let's start there. I mean, for me, I can. There are storytellers that just grab you, and they just the way that they introduce their, the creepiness, and it's not always a monster with 1,000 arms, coming in to slap you down 50,000 times. So let's talk about that. How do we make monsters more than just a jump scare?
Well, I mean, the tendency in a lot of the time is just, give it an attack score, give it some kind of damage modifier, either close damage or a blast, and then maybe give it a weird move and some senses and call it good. And that's a good bare bones monster design or creature design. That's how you get your werewolves and your space saber-toothed space skunk apes. But you can do a lot more with your creature design to sort of set them apart. You can give them, unnatural abilities that aren't quite superpowers, and figure out how those sort of interact with the team, interact with the environment. the example I was brought up kind of before the show was summonable gremlins, basically, that are
yeah.
PL1, and an evil wizard can summon a horde of them, and their only significant ability is they all have a 1 rank of the luck power. But if you bring out 32 of them at a time, they can make your player's day just miserable.
Oh
Okay,
no.
so talk to me about
Oh
what happened.
no.
Yeah, what does that mean?
That means without any kind of saving throw, your players have to re-roll their dice at least 32 times.
Oh.
Over
That
the
means
course of
Crystal
that
had a
encounter.
bad day and is mad at her player characters. Is what
Or
that
your
means.
villain, or your villain gets to re-roll their checks every single turn until all 32 of those gremlins are expended or
Right.
destroyed.
I gotcha.
And if you really want to be vicious, you give each of those gremlins interpose so that no matter how many times you want to attack the main villain, your attacks somehow go horribly awry and end up blowing up a gremlin.
And of course,
It'd
the
be
other
funny
thing is, if you're talking about having villains be interesting and unique, you can work outside of the things that are immediately suggested by the game mechanics, right? Crystal was talking about the basics of if it's got an attack and it's got a power rank.
Mhm.
Like if you've got all these gremlins, you can start saying, well, what if, for instance, a gremlin cannot resist messing with a mechanical device? So the first time you run into this wizard, you happen to get near a clock shop, and so half of his gremlins go swarming in there to mess with it, even though tactically that's a terrible decision. And then the players can start thinking, oh, if we have a whole bunch of little wind-up toys and remote controls and water guns, things we don't care about, the gremlins will mess with those, and we are free to do other stuff. And so you've got this potentially overwhelming thing that Crystal has dreamed up that could really drive players crazy. And then you add to it something where, maybe it's a comic book trope, right? The villain shows up and he completely defeats the heroes and does some minor thing. And then they have to figure out, how do we deal with this creature or this problem, or in this case, this collection of 32 tiny little problems. And yeah, the drawbacks, you can absolutely have rules that cover how you do that. But what you're deciding is, I'm deciding this is a built-in behavior, not because I need to balance anything, but because I want that interesting element for these tiny little hooligans, and because I think it would be fun to talk about them, pounding on clocks and breaking springs and end up getting caught between the second hand and the minute hand and their head pops off, whatever.
I'm trying to figure out if you actually pulled that from the original Ghostbusters episode, or if that came to you all on your own.
So
you, Owen? It could be either way.
certainly saw the original Ghostbusters episode. I wasn't thinking in those terms, but I have a broad and deep Zeit geek connection, so it is not unusual for me to come up with ideas that other people have done before and animated.
Yeah, but
Here, I was thinking that's because Crystal's surrounded by clocks right now.
and,
That's
So
right.
we can't disprove that Crystal doesn't have these gremlins in her house.
yeah, I cannot overemphasize how much we do not want to open up my father's supervillainy clocks.
Right. I am curious though, what a supervillain would be doing with so many Steins.
Oh, those are my mother's.
Oh, gotcha. Great.
She's just an alcoholic.
We call her Stein Mama.
I'm surprised you don't already know, Troy. They drink a little and then they're incredibly frank about everything they do. And as a result, they're referred to as Frankensteins.
Whoa, that was beautiful.
I'm taking a hero point from Owen.
Yeah. Minus 50 experience.
Jeez, Owen, I made a funny joke last stream and they shunted me out the airlock.
Some people just don't appreciate a good pun. I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, Owen makes a great point about the solutions for monsters. Oftentimes with supervillains, we just want to punch them, or maybe have like heartfelt emotional moments where we try to redeem them. But with monsters, players seem a lot more willing to sort of come up with creative solutions. I don't know what it is about that headspace, that monster headspace, that gets them thinking in terms of D&D-esque solutions.
I think it's the very fact that they are monsters as opposed to, I mean, you know, spoiler for a movie that's been out for a while, Dormammu have come to bargain, right? That's a demon. And Doctor Strange was not there to try and beat him up, but to solve that problem using a different methodology.
Yep. I'm a big fan of using powers to solve problems instead of just fight. I mean, maybe that's just because I finished Psychonauts 2 like over the weekend, but
Nice,
also-
Sean. Sorry to interrupt, but you know. I love it. Yes, so we're using our creative powers to.
But it's also a good time to point out, especially with Owen here on the show, the rules are mostly there to keep the players honest. You as the GM can just sort of do whatever, and then the rank system is there to measure how effective or difficult it is. So you don't have to, if you want your gremlins to, or if you want a monster that turns everybody into children, you don't need to stat that up as an affliction or a transform or a whatever. You just say they have the turns people into children power at rank, let's say 14. It's real hard to resist.
It's rank a million. Here's a hero point.
Yeah,
Just throw
or
it at
it's
them.
just rank a million. You can also just completely hand wave it, depending on how much you want players to resist it or not.
And those can be great places where you very specifically go, okay, it's rank a million as long as they have the Book of Childhood Fables. And when someone gets that away from them, it's not anymore. And again, you're creating that narrative flow where, hey, you might have, this is an indestructible troll. And I mean, it's indestructible. There is nothing you can do to damage it. But that does not prevent you from yeeting it into the sun if that's how you want. And then since it doesn't fly, it's dealt with. So especially when you're trying to throw limitations on things or create a situation where the players have to do something with the monster other than just punch it, those are great spaces to just say, all I need from these rules is a way for the players to interact with them. I don't need to worry about how many points this cost or any of that. I just need to know, hey, if I'm saying that a gremlin can be lured away with a clock, all I need is to make sure that I've got in mind some DC and how that luring works. So if a player just comes up with 2 gears and rubs them together, do they have a chance of luring him over? Because that seems like a mechanical device. And that's where things like skills come into play.
Or does the gremlin start thinking that the player is a mechanical device and now it's a complication and the gremlins are trying to take them apart specifically?
Oh, bad day to be a robot.
Right.
Super bad day to be a robot PC. Yeah, and I think the idea that monsters, there's always like this, I need some creative way to deal with it. I think it's because monsters come from that line of storytelling where supervillains come from, punch them and they'll stop fighting you line of storytelling. And it triggers different parts of the player brain, in my opinion.
Which is weird because in a lot of the time in comic books and TV and movies, the heroes end up winning because they sort of outwit or outthink the villains. They don't just outpunch them.
Yeah, I think that's because the games don't give you as many rules to make it clear that you outwit the supervillain, right? The rules really seem to tell you, hey, here's how I interact with this villain, and how I interact with this villain is I hit them. And especially then when you start doing things that are clearly beyond what the rules normally say, that I think that triggers players to go, oh, this is a different rule space. This is a different kind of encounter just based on the GM isn't telling me about how much he flies or how hard he's punching me. He's telling me we all now look 7.
Yeah.
It's like, all we have are hammers, and now the GM has handed us a magnifying glass, and we don't know what to do with this tool.
Yeah.
That's fair, yeah.
All right, well, so now, go ahead, please. Sorry.
I was just going to jump to a semi-related topic, but if you have something related, bring it up now.
Well, I was just going to say now, today is a day where we're going to stat some stuff up and do some of this magic making and talking about how, incorporating some of these skills and abilities, and we'll be chat. You got to be on your game today. No shenanigans, no nonsense, no playing around, no tricksy business. More puns, now that's acceptable, but all the rest. But you need to help us out. So, are we going to stat? Are we saving sort of the space whale and the nanites and stuff for a later thing, and going to the?
Oh no, those are already statted up. Those are
Yeah, that's what I
written up, statted, ready to go. Whenever, email Troy and tell him you want them now.
That's right.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
You can. You could if you'd want. There are a couple people who do have my personal professional email, and they know who they are. But don't do it, Sean. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Alex. All right, what about the Norquil makes them like unique, interesting characters for an encounter?
Oh, my favorite thing. My favorite thing about the Norquil started off as a pun, so that's fun.
I approve.
So they are these massive interstellar whale-like animals that travel across the universe, and I sort of went a little weird, like space creation, sort of recognizable as whale. But my favorite thing about them is they have the ability to emit a bright aurora borealis from their belly when they fly through space. That they can use to blind PCs, they can use it to disorient opponents, they can use it to flash and trick space prey when they go to hunting after space prey like spaceships. And originally I called that Aurora Borealis, but I changed that in the stat block because I figured Crystal would throw me
so
out.
Disappointed that was changed.
Yeah.
Well, GMs can change it back at home now that they know. That's why you tune into Mutants and Masterminds Monday, the behind-the-scenes truth of Mutants and Masterminds.
That's right. That's right. The gritty realism behind the scenes.
So how do you
The
see them
glowing
being
underbelly.
used?
Yes.
So they do have the ability to transfer the planetary gases that they eat. That's why they live around Jupiter. I decided that they feed on gas giants, and that's sort of what allows them to travel faster than light. So there's a couple of ways that PCs could interact with the whales. They could be sent out to go hunt them for their horns, because they have big narwhal horns on the front of their faces.
Whalers on the moon.
Whalers on the moon. Or they could use them to try and study, to try and improve their faster than light engines. They could use them to try.
Oh. I think we lost Alex. Or it's a dramatic
go
pause.
to a
You can never
specific
tell
place
with
that
actors.
spaceships can't
That's
go
true.
to. That the whale was not a dramatic pause. My internet was like that. But you could go and try to get them to take you somewhere that a spaceship can't go, but the whales have gone to before. Or try to protect them from space whalers. There's lots of different ideas that I had sort of in mind of how the heroes could interact with them, or how GMs could bring the Norquil into their stories.
I think it would be an interesting way for sea creature controllers to be absolutely terrifying in this setting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Everybody laughed at Aquaman until he became Spaceman.
I was about to say, you're reminding me of the illustration of Aquaman riding the head of Cthulhu.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
They laughed at me. They all laughed at me.
That is a popular actual illustration. It's not DC canon, but it is something that a pro drew.
I love that. That's actually pretty awesome. Jonesy says, yes, riding on the singing a space shanty.
Luckily, we have one of those all ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Robot
pirates are happy to hang out with the space whales.
Absolutely, yeah. So now, talk to me. How much have we done in, or how much do you do, and how much do you leave for players when it comes to sort of like the cultural implications of space whales? Earth, ocean whales. People are like, ooh, whales, and they want to go see what's going on. These don't sound like those whales.
Well, I think the being able to see the aurora from Europa adds a little bit of that. Oh, that's pretty up there in space, whatever's floating around up there. Plus, they're iridescent and marbly, and they've got shiny, glowing horns. So right. I think from people who are passing by, that is very. You're either going up there to whale them, or you're going up there to admire them or conservate them.
Yeah. I made a little note or added a little bit of word count because the other two entries were longer. That, unscrupulous horrible people might hollow them out to use them as living spaceships.
Oh,
Very much like the Brood and their space whales.
Mhm.
see, that's pretty. So would they still be alive?
Oh yes.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
Unfortunately, from the sound of things.
Right? Yeah.
The split second you tell players that something used to be alive and now it's dead because evil forces are in charge of it, they take that as a sign to throw dynamite or use the Death
Yeah.
Star, or
Right.
if a
Yeah.
thing used to be an innocent, living, happy creature and it's temporarily mind controlled, they will seek a way to remove the mind control. But if you tell them,
Mhm.
oh no, it's a zombie now, there's no way to save it. Oh, well then we're obviously going to split it in half. There's no other possible. We'll use our space god Thor space axe and space split the space wheel into space halves.
You've been playing a lot of Starfinder lately, haven't you, Owen?
No, because then I would have said Star God with his star axe hitting the star whale with it, split it into star halves. I am absolutely not crossing the streams, even though we're streaming.
We are literally crossing the streams right now.
Yeah, you've
for
literally
Thursday.
crossed the stream, Owen.
Yes, you have.
No, see, for that I'd have to make a Fantasy Age reference.
Mm.
The Norqual could also come and rescue the heroes if their spaceship ever gets destroyed by unscrupulous space pirates.
So,
Yeah.
but our space whales are kind of vicious, right? Are they mean? Are they like? I mean, they're not like they'll eat a ship.
I mean,
Like
they
space whale
are carnivores in space. I don't think
Gas
they're
carnivores.
overly aggressive, but they are. They are territorial and
Starnivores.
they're enormous. they're enormous animals.
That's the spirit.
I think herbivores get off easy. Herbivores will, in fact, ruin your whole life if you mess with them in the wild. Like, don't mess with an elk, or
don't poke a
Or a
moose.
hippo.
Is a pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
So
Carnivores really have to conserve their energy, but herbivores.
Yeah, they're just boundless energy.
they will, in fact, mess you up.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I was going to jump over to the brine, one of our other monster races we're introducing, or monster species. The brine are mysterious, creepy merfolk. Troy, I sent you art for them to put on the
did.
Patreon. Do we want to put that up?
I'm gonna grab it while
This
you
is our
describe it.
Sketch. This is our sketch, but they are creepy underwater merfolk who live under Europa, and the reason they are disreputable, horrible, mean things is they were a psychic hive mind that has been infected with a psionic virus, and now their minds are chaotic and they can't focus on anything for too long. They can't coordinate well, and they can use their psychic powers to push that out at other people and give you horrible hallucinations or make you completely just shut down your short-term memory and forget you even saw them, basically making them invisible. And any other sentient minds around them just feel like this grotesque, super nasty perversion that they just don't want any part of. So,
And for the list of places I want that to happen to me, the bottom of a space ocean is at the very bottom of that list.
Yeah, truth. All right.
So either way, we're getting in the bathysphere. But they are like your unseen threat sort of sneaking into Starhaven. And you might see them and you might have nightmares about them, but you can't tell anyone you saw them because they're, again, effectively invisible when they move around unless they, decide to attack.
I can't help but wonder if we have creepy underwater infected brine European aliens, if there's some deeper, more terrible, larger, more horrible thing down under the ice in Europa that they are aware of and we're not.
I mean, there's not enough room in this book to put in everything we want to put in. But we're going to leave a lot open for GMs to play with. And then...
Pardon me, folks.
Yeah, we would normally have Steve here to sort of talk about his nanomorph, which is mostly just a dumping ground for the variable power, so you can give it just about anything as it changes and copies whatever it sees.
Wow, I went to share and got knocked right out.
Huh.
That those these Brian are not super stoked about being seen. But here we go. All right, so we're working with a sketch here, which I love, and you get to see a little behind the scenes. And then, where does this sketch go to be unsketchified or resketched, or
Well, once it's approved, it goes back to the artist. This is Dennis Medry's work, who he does a ton of work for Mutants and Masterminds.
I love a sketch. I really do. I truly, truly do.
I think we're going to lose the fish boobs, but
yeah, those are kind of fish booby. Yeah, definitely.
That happens if you tell any artist who's used to doing modern sci-fi or fantasy or pulp flavored things that something is female or is slender waisted and thick hipped, either of those, and you get, doesn't matter if it's a fish or a robot or a lizard, it absolutely does not have to be a mammal.
Right, it'll end up with some boobs. Yeah,
no, it's female. You indicate that it's female with eyelashes and a bow, obviously.
Yeah, that's clearly right. That's
obviously.
Right. And a polka
but that's why
dot
we have a sketch stage, right? That's the whole point of this part of the process. And I don't even blame the artists, because the artists are working for a lot of people, and a lot of people in the industry, that is in fact the look they are going for. When I did art orders,
a lot of the industry is built on fish boobs.
Yes, no, it's as weird a thing to say as that is, she's not wrong.
I saw The Shape of Water. I know what I'm about.
It wasn't the boobs we were looking at in Shape of Water.
No, yeah, not the boobs. Not the boobs. But okay, so all right, phenomenal. So let's see. Oh, Claude wants to see the eyelash and bow version.
Well, that's the great thing about having a sketch, right? We can just tell Crystal, hey, take the sketch and put in some eyelashes and a big bow.
I like it. And so and then Steve's on here. You were saying, I'm sorry, I missed it. I just missed the tail end of that.
Was saying we'd have Steve explain like cool things to do with your nanomorph too, but it's the variable power, so you can use or literally use the nanomorph as an excuse to do anything. You can give it any powers you want. You can make it basically be a preview shape of the villain you want to use, who would normally be way too powerful for your heroes, and just have the nanomorph take on a lower PL version of that villain to show off what the villain does. You can have it imitate any other, villain or monster or anything else they encounter, or take turns shapeshifting to replace the players if you want to play a game of werewolf that night.
Ooh, I like it.
So everyone should watch The Thing before they run a game with this.
I would recommend.
Or go the other route. Make all your players watch The Thing, and then don't have anything actually be a creepy shapeshifter. Right?
That's interesting. So have you, whether you're, regardless of what tabletop experience that you're facilitating, have you ever given people sort of reading to get them in the mood or get them sort of thinking?
Yes.
I've done that before campaigns to get everybody on the same stage for character creation. But I don't think I've ever done it before an individual game.
I actually just did it for our Suicide Squad stream that we did for Gen Con.
Nice.
I sent out a bunch of like recommended reading. It was like arcs that John Ostrander wrote, as well as the animated series episode where they snuck aboard the Watchtower, and Evil Dead 2 was on the list because there's some real bad stuff that happens in the game.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah. I like that. I like that thought, and I also, because of the way that we create our stuff, it's so evocative. Immersing yourself in Mutants and Mastermind stuff is good as well. But yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean the big note with monsters and creatures in general is figure out what you want them to be first, and then sort of build the ecology and the superpowers and the skills around that. Like I knew I wanted the brine to like not just be something that gets up and zaps you, but something that just them being around was distracting and annoying. So their real claim to fame is they've all got ranks in environment, and they're very low ranks, but if you've got a bunch of them wandering around, then you can't move very quickly, you can't see well because you've got all these hallucinations and vertigo, and you've got to take out 4 or 10 of them before you can get stable footing again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is what do you want this to do in the game, right? What's your vision for how?
Oh, and we've lost
No one left.
Owen. It's that damn fracking.
Right. I will say one thing I really like to do when I'm designing new monsters is I'll go look through the extras and flaws for powers, and I'll look for stuff I don't usually use, like Contagious or Insidious or...
Contagious is great. Players love it.
Yeah.
I mean hate.
And building something around that extra flaws really is something that helps me flex my creative muscles to be something other than, okay, here's a snare power and a blast, and that's the monster.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. Yeah, I'm hoping. I know that Owen was oftentimes the thunderstorms, out there, and the corn. It's so high, and it's just a real mess.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it's like once the wind goes whipping down the plains.
Yeah, exactly. And then elephant's eyes and all that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Owen is in Oklahoma, which is why we love mocking him by singing Oklahoma.
That's right. Okay. And I only did Oklahoma once, and it was Jokelahoma. It was where we made we made up different words to the music, and it was quite fun. Although a little racier, wasn't prepared for that. Yeah. Okay. Well, so now we've got what time is it? A little less than okay. So about 16.
So yeah, we got to do some monster design.
Hecka, yeah. And so, what do we want the chat to do?
So we want suggestions from the chat on how we make. So we want to make an ice predator, something that prowls, the surface of Europa and hunts, stranded aliens. Presumably it can hibernate for long periods of time. But we want it to be more than just, like I said earlier, like a strength score and an attack bonus. I mean, if we just want that, we could say, use the tiger from the Game Master's Guide. Like, what makes this monster stand out? Do we want to make it like a solo predator that's really big and tough? Do we want to make it like a pack hunter where they coordinate really well? Like, what's the gimmick with these ice monsters? What power level do we even want them to be? Is it like a big furry T-Rex like PL11 or 12 where one of these is going to be a danger to your whole team? Or is it going to be more like a pack of wolves where you've got a bunch of PL7 or 8 monsters that all coordinate together? So what do we say in here? Ooh, John Lighthouser's got a great idea. Also, hi, John. Haven't seen you in a while. That it's a monster that feeds on heat. So that seems like that's a valuable resource.
Mm-hmm. And it's something the heroes will be carrying around with them when they're out roaming the frozen wastes.
Oh yeah, it's something the heroes will be generating. So we can automatically assume it's going to attack any machines that put off a lot of heat and any heroes with heat-based superpowers.
Poor Johnny. He should never have gone to Europa.
Ooh, yeah.
How about this one? Okay.
An affliction reaction when you touch them. I like that.
That could be a part of the energy transference. As they're draining your heat, they're freezing you into a statue.
I mean, that would be like the active feeding version, which I like. And then they've got like a reaction ability that just every time you touch them, it starts to freeze you in place.
Okay, interesting. Okay. some kind of a crack lure, something that lures prey over to cracks in the ice using bioluminescent lights sliding around it.
Ooh.
That's a pretty interesting visual.
Bioluminescence. Now that's a feature if ever I heard one.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I'm getting my notepad because I can't make notes in Hero Lab this fast. But these
Well,
are-
if it's
these are
especially
good
luminescent,
ideas.
it could be an environment power.
I like it. So, do we know what it is? So far, it's a.
No.
Here's a suggestion: adorable carnivorous baby harp seals with disarming.
Oh, we hadn't gone in the direction of adorable and disarming, like something that's definitely a way to lure prey in. Look cute and harmless and vulnerable.
Sean Duggan says, as in the hero high advantage.
Mm-hmm. That could be what's left above the ice, like a little anglerfish baby seal on a
Well,
thread.
listen, look at this one, friends. Chihuahua Jedi says pack hunters. Coordinated.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of a pack of tiny Jedi Chihuahua. In an efficient group is a unique kind of terrifying truth. Yeah.
So I love the idea that they use a lure or they are just adorable and disarming on their own to bring you in, and then the second you touch them, it starts to freeze you in place.
In order
So
for
it
the
can-
pack to get you.
Yeah, and then they all just sort of swarm you at once.
Oh, yeah, that's
feed on your
great.
sweet heat juices.
Your sweet heat juices. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, John. That reminds me quite a bit. Yeah, I like that. Oh, this is interesting. Jordan says a mated pair at PL9.
So like about a PL7 each, or do we want them to be like pack hunters where you've got like 10 of them at a time, but they're only PL3 and they coordinate to bump up the effectiveness of their freeze attacks.
I like it.
I always like the idea of stuff in space being more dangerous than Earth-based animals.
Yeah, it seems on brand. Oh, okay. This is a long one. There we go.
You're welcome, AJ
Okay,
Real.
John. Sweet heat juices is not a phrase I thought I would hear today.
Yeah.
No, but
yeah.
it is the name of my next band.
Sweet Heat Juices with their hit song
The Melt.
The Melts. I love it. Nano calling. Okay. So that's interesting. So we'll have to share that when we're talking about that. Nice. Okay. So we got this creature that's cute, looking for them sweet heat juices by the crack.
Oh no, you don't want the crack sweet heat juices.
Oh dear. Whew. I like it so far. And so are we going with is it a cute, I like that John Lighthouser suggested Galaxy Quest, but are we looking at, are these little harp seals, or are they?
I'm kind of like the idea of like maybe they're a little smaller than wolves, so like domesticated dog size.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, insidious or contagious on their freeze attack. Climbing is part of their movement.
Are we imagining them being furry or scaly? Or
I'm-
exoskeleton-y?
I think if
Chitinous,
they're
that's the word.
adorable, yeah, I think if they're adorable, we kind of have to lean towards furry, just because that's
Something
how human
fuzzy.
brains work.
Right. Yeah.
Tribbles with a bad attitude.
I mean, anything that keeps them from reproducing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Eating, I suppose. Well, wait. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what tribbles eat.
Everything.
Toupees.
Toupees. I like it. It does remind me of one of our earliest programs where Crystal's hair was beating up Kirk's toupee. I like it. It was good. If I remember correctly, Alex, you were the one that
Yes,
debuted that particular movie.
that's true. That's
So yeah, no, I like this. So we need to start thinking of a name. Like, what do we
Ooh.
call our adorable ambush hunters? I like the idea that they kind of look like harp seals because harp seals can turn into orbs. What if there's like a rolling movement for them?
That's what I was
Oh,
saying.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
It would be hilarious to just have this cute little thing and you haven't touched it, you haven't done anything, and then all these little fur-shaped balls come rolling up. And you're like, what is this? This is so
Yeah, in previous editions of Mutants and Masterminds, we had bouncing as a power and we had spinning as a power. They were both mostly just containers. Like bouncing was just a variation on leaping, and spinning was just a variation on, I don't want to say enhanced defenses, but can still bring that back.
yeah.
Yeah. I would almost like it if they didn't even like have mouths or hands or legs, and they literally just rolled up and stuck themselves to you, and that's how they started absorbing your heat.
I don't know. Don't they need big eyes and like
I
a
think-
cute little mouth?
I think big eyes and maybe like a black dot, but that isn't a mouth. But people anthropomorphize it because that's how our brains work.
That's good. I like it.
I mean, they've got to have some option for fighting. They can't just be orbs. Like once freezing you in place doesn't work, like what do? Do they bust out like big spider legs? Do they have like crab claws that they try to latch onto you with? Oh, yeah.
I do love a good crab claw.
Yeah, if they just try to like latch onto you once they get close and then just trust their reaction damage to or the reaction freeze to suck the heat out of you.
Oh yeah, yeah. What if they had some like hidden suckers? Like they get near you, and then like once they can be near your body, they suck onto you and drain your.
They
You're
fold
s-
inside out and turn into a scary, scaly monster.
Ah.
That's that'd be really upsetting. Oh, you're so. Oh my god, what is
Ah,
wrong with
oh, no! Oh, what cruel god has made this?
that? Why?
His name is Alex, and I would describe all of the squelching as it happened.
I like John's suggestion of kill cuddles.
Kill Cuddles is pretty. That's a pretty good name. And
You
I
come
could
up with a lore name for that, right? Like a lore LOR, not like sacred knowledge lore.
I also like the idea that you could present that and not necessarily like don't catch the kill cuddles. It could be sort of like a lore thing. You're not really quite sure what it means. Like what are they talking about? The kill cuddles. You'll find out soon enough.
Yes, we call them the adorbs.
The adorbs. like it.
Adorbies.
The adorbs.
The adorbs.
Oh,
I'm down.
this
I'm
is
down.
terrible. Chat, we need you to save us from ourselves. These are terrible names.
They're horrible names. Yeah, so we've got kill cuddles, we've got adorbs, we have I think that's it, right?
The European Killicuddies.
The Aeropentilicuddies.
Killicuddies. Killicuddies.
Killicuddies.
Jeez. A boo.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a couple of basic templates in the book when it finally comes out that, this is how you make a European predator. You just toss the Europa template onto your T-Rex or your giant spider or your saber-toothed cat, and now you've got an adorable, good shaggy predator to roam the European surface.
Maybe you want a gravy squatch.
Yeah, maybe you want a frost-adapted gravy squatch.
Mmm. Tasty. Okay, all right. Here's something.
Ooh, thermators.
For some reason, when I read that, I thought Therminators.
Ferminators. No, wait,
Terminator is a
that's
cheeseburger here in Columbus.
and a brush.
And oh yeah. I was thinking of Therm with the TH. Therminators.
Terminator. I don't know.
Sean Vieira says, love a good template. A book of templates might be a nice product. Hint, hint. Oh, Sean, I didn't read all the way to the end of that. Got me again with one of the suggestions.
Yeah, but I already released a book of templates. It's before I joined Mutants and Masterminds. It's how I demonstrated that I could, design for Mutants and Masterminds. If you go over to Drive Through RPG, look for the template tome, and it's got oh gosh, something like 32 different templates, along with at least one example creature for each one.
And you call it the
Great
template
product.
tome.
Mm-hmm.
Thermites.
Yeah, thermites.
Oh, I like this.
I do like mite because it sort of evokes the dust mite aspect of how they kind of look.
Yeah, the cutesiness. Although dust mites are horrifying.
Yeah, they really are.
Although I wonder if we could just tell an artist to go like cutesy up a dust mite for us.
I'm going frost bunnies, like dust bunnies.
Oh, like snow bunnies.
There
Yeah.
we go. Okay. All right. From an ecology point of view, I can see them raising the ambient temperature enough to melt the ice, letting the freezing water and carnivores kill them. Then they soak in the blood to eat. Ew. Oh, Sean says your book is his third favorite.
Aw.
That's so generous. Coming from Sean.
No, one of his favorite third-party books.
Oh, see, I thought your book is my third favorite, but I mean it's my favorite third. Yeah, that's great. Though
I'm good with
favorite.
either.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah.
Sean's
Oh,
Canadian.
look
That's
at
what news
this, AJ. You are such a good.
Aw.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to sell the book. I just think it's a fun book.
Yeah.
It's got the overbear in it, which is one of my favorite Mutants and Masterminds concepts ever. It's a bear with super speed.
Oh no! Does Playing Dead still work on it?
Yes, but you've got to do it fast.
Yeah, real fast. Frost mites.
mites. Oh, like a frost bite? This might be. Maybe we just make a poll and ask the Patreons to vote on our like adorable freezing ambush predator.
Yeah, take some of these names and create a poll out of it. I like that idea.
I don't know that we're going to come up with I don't know that we're going to be able to pick between them.
Yeah.
Well,
European snow bunnies.
Yeah. I think you were thinking of a soda commercial. a Christmas soda commercial. And also, what happened to the time?
Oh geez, it went by fast today.
Fast.
It really did. Pour one out for Owen. Hoping that that things aren't too chaotic weather or internet wise. Sean Vieira comes in right on the wire with thermitors or thermites. Reminds me of Theran. Oh yeah, no, yeah. Name wise, not called Theranos. Is that woman who introduced the blood test for diseases or something? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know if I care for that, but wow, the time is gone. We have so much to do. So we're going to be releasing some information on the Patreon very shortly. And in addition, we will be what you heard earlier in the show when you were hearing sort of the thoughtful what was it sort of compelling witchy voice was that was Crystal as part of the Sirenscape, Crystal being the voice actress on top of all the other amazing things that she does. And Sirenscape stuff you can find at syrinscape.com, and it's so cool. I'm in love with it. I really am. It is. I can see how it could be very evocative. I could see how it can be very useful, and I can also see.
I'll hex you for that one.
I love it. I love it. Oh, Grey Destiny says they just picked up the template tome very recently. Fun. I dig it.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. All right, friends. Well, we have come to the end of the program. I also want to say go over to Roll20, check out the new character sheet. It's up and it's ready for you to play and kick around. Very excited about that. Anything from you, Alex, you'd like to share? Do you have anything cooking tonight?
Well, we are finally Bound by Gold, book number 4 of Netherworld tonight. Ooh. So we're on the trail of the Mask of Malador. It's gonna be
Very
a trip. So
and
we'll be live at 7 p.m. tonight at twitch.tv/Untold Stories Project.
That's right. Check out this stream because Alex will be using the character sheet because it's public.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep. And I will be at Origins next week if anybody wants to come play Mutants and Masterminds with me.
You are relentless.
That's fun. Alex is actually, while he seems short, he's actually about 7 feet tall, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's why my dad called me Skunk Ape growing up.
That's right. That's right. I like that. Crystal, what have you got cooking? Anything great you'd like to share?
I did not have an adorable cryptid nickname growing up, unfortunately.
No problem. We always have Gravy Squatch, who is here to be your friend and to hang out. Gravy Squatch loves you. But
I love that he can move around.
Yeah, he's very quick.
Fast.
Yeah, Gravy's very slippery.
Is he an Oversquatch?
He is. Yeah, he is. All right, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. A lot of fun. Thanks for
Please,
bearing
God,
with us.
let that be gravy.
Yeah, right. Oh God. The old post gravy squatch. But with that, we say farewell. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you Thursday, where you get to see Owen again. So check us out in these same places, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Gravy Squad.